I guess it was on a, yeah. Yeah, just keep doing it. There's more. There's three slides. So 360 is your opportunity. It's a means for feedback. How are we doing? How are we doing in this process? How can we improve that process? How did it go? Those types of things. It's very basic, very rudimentary, but it's something that we rolled out this past year so that when you have a site visit afterwards, you receive an email and have access to be able to submit that survey. That survey, from the grantee's perspective, you're evaluating the FPO and the peer. The FPO is evaluating how the site visit went for the grantee and the peer monitor, and the peer is doing the grantee and the FPO. So that's where we're getting around a circle of input on perspectives on our site visit and how we can strengthen that. That information and data comes to us as managers, and we use that as, again, for training purposes, strengthening and enhancing that, ensuring that, again, our roles and responsibilities to ensure that you're being successful in what you're doing, we're meeting those things. And where we're not, how do we improve those types of things, right? The feedback, I think I heard Debbie say this morning, you know, in regards to the Federal Register when that comes out, how important your comments are. This is important as well. And so I will share that we haven't had as much responsiveness in that process, and I totally get that. As a former grantee, I know how that felt, and you're kind of cautious about what do I say, but it's really important that we have a transparent process of communication, that we're talking about, like I said, the good, bad, and the ugly, because that's the only way we're going to be able to fix it or address it or identify more better ways to address it and work through it. So it's something that you do organizationally, right, with your strategic plan. You're always looking at how to improve. You're always looking at the services that you're providing and are they effective? Are they meeting the outcomes that you've stated? All those types of things. And it requires us to have that internal conversation with each other about how do we do better. At least we should be, right? And so that's what this is all about. This is where we want to head for, is how do we improve and strengthen our abilities as FISB to support you in achieving your mission. Yeah. Yep. So it is a partnership. Just keep going. It is a partnership, like I said, just like you have partnerships and stakeholders and relationships that you're building as part of your programs and organizations. It's a relationship that we want to establish with you as well. We don't want to be seen as the rich uncle, knowing that we aren't that rich, but you know, we have a vested interest in this. And when there's change and needs to be changed from even a policy level, that's what we need to do to be able to have that communication. So, thank you.
Thanks, Aaron. So first of all, I'm convinced that this clicker is like the sign, the button at the intersection. You press it and press it and press it and press it, and it doesn't actually do anything. And the guys in the back are just watching us do this and advancing the slides. So thanks, gentlemen. All right, so I can be creative, right? I could be on my back, under my leg. All right, are you ready? Okay. So we're going to talk about federal partnerships, and I'm going to go into some discussion about 4 or 5 organizations that have provided us some information. But before I do that, my lovely and esteemed colleague, Labrita White, is going to come up and give you some, I think, really incredible information about some initiatives that the Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention Program has been involved with in the past year. Ms. White.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. All
All right, that's kind of weak, but we're going to keep going. I know it's right after lunchtime, but I'm Larita White. I'm one of the Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention Program managers. We actually just brought on another manager a few weeks ago, so with the expansion of the work, our programs that we'll share a little bit about today, you'll see the need for us to also increase our staff. I come to you as a former RHY project officer. Some years ago, I actually worked with the RHY program, so definitely very much knowledgeable about the important work that you're doing day to day. I'll be before you briefly, but I do want to share with you a little bit about the Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention Program and spend most of my time before you sharing information about a new initiative that we initiated back in July of this year. I'm doing it selfishly because I need your help with this new initiative. And again, you'll learn more as I continue on. But really, the initiative is called We Think Twice, and you'll see the logo on my slide. Okay, he's advanced it. We Think Twice is a campaign that has a focus on dispelling some of the misconceptions and myths that young people have about whether or not they're engaging, how many youth are engaging, or are most youth engaging in risk-taking behavior. And it really dispels some of the myths, and it really presents not everyone is doing it being sex, it being drugs, it being alcohol. And so, again, we'll share a little bit more about that with you. Before we do that, how many of you are also, your organizations also support or receive funding for adolescent pregnancy prevention programming, such as the Personal Responsibility Education Program or the Sexual Risk Avoidance? I see some hands over here. Okay, all right, very good. So where I want to start, if we can go back a slide.
You got to tell them.
The Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention Program slide. Yep. There we are. Okay, I'm not going to use that clicker. I'll just speak to the command in the back. All right. So APP, the Adolescent Pregnancy Prevention Program, we take a holistic approach to administering over $180 million to support 217 grantees in states, U.S. territories, tribes, and community-based organizations to implement sexual risk avoidance education as well as personal responsibility education programs. For our sexual risk avoidance education program, we have 3 funding streams, and they're on the slide on the screen for you. There's a Title V state. We have a competitive for states that don't accept their funding or allocation. We then compete those funds to community-based organizations, and we also have a general departmental sexual risk avoidance education program. We get general funds from the secretary, and then we distribute those funds through competitive processes as well. And so for the SRAE, I'll refer to it as SRAE program, we are really focused on having grantees to teach youth how to voluntarily refrain from non-marital sexual activity, empower youth to make healthy decisions, and provide tools and resources to prevent youth engagement in other risky behaviors. Our PrEP program, our Personal Responsibility Education Program, we have 4 funding streams. We fund states. We, again, just like our SRAE program, if states don't accept their funds, we compete those dollars out to organizations in those same states. We also have tribal grantees, as well as, you'll see the word Prius, not the vehicle, but Prius, PrEP Innovative Strategies. And PrEP Innovative Strategies is really having grantees to test some innovative models to determine whether or not they have positive impacts on deterring and having youth to avoid teen pregnancy. All right, and so that program for PrEP focuses on contraception as well as abstinence education. And what's really unique about this program that really crosses over a lot with the work that you're doing to empower young people to make positive and healthy choices and decisions, there is the adulthood preparation subjects component that legislation requires. And so in addition to teaching young people how not to get pregnant, how to avoid sexually transmitted disease, we're also embedding those programs with information on making healthy decisions through social and life skills training, such as on topics like financial literacy and healthy relationships. And we can advance. So I started off saying, I need your help. I need your assistance with the launch of our We Think Twice campaign. This campaign took effect in July of this year, and it's really promoting a holistic